Beloved chosen one, I am Michael, and today I want to speak with you about a pressure I have watched quietly crushing you. The belief that by this point in your life, you should already have everything figured out. The career, the relationship, the stability, the confidence, all of it settled and secure by now. I need your attention today because I believe this invisible timeline you have been measuring yourself against was never actually real in the first place. I want to speak honestly first. Beloved chosen one. You look around, and it seems like everyone else received a manual for adulthood that somehow skipped you entirely. They appear to know what they are doing, where they are headed, who they are becoming, while you still feel like you are guessing, adjusting, starting over more often than feels acceptable for someone your age. I want you to hear this clearly today. That feeling of being the only one improvising is nearly universal, hidden behind everyone else's careful presentation of having it together. I want to talk about where this pressure actually comes from, because I do not believe it arrived by accident. Beloved chosen one, milestones, ages, and timelines get repeated so often in conversations, in comparisons, in the quiet arithmetic you do against people you knew years ago, that they start to feel like unbreakable laws rather than the loose, culturally constructed guidelines they actually are. There was never a universal contract guaranteeing that life would be settled by a specific birthday. And yet, you have been measuring yourself against that imaginary contract as though breaking it means you have failed. I want to speak to the specific shame of starting over, again, at an age where starting over feels embarrassing, as though you should be further along by now, building rather than rebuilding, arriving rather than still searching. Beloved chosen one, I want you to release that shame today. Starting over is not evidence of falling behind. It is often evidence of growth, of recognizing that a previous direction no longer fit who you have become, and having the courage to change course, even when changing course feels humiliating against an imaginary timeline that was never fair to begin with. I want you to say this with me now, beloved chosen one, whether silently or spoken aloud. I release the imaginary timeline I have been measuring myself against. Having it figured out was never actually required of me, and starting over is not failure. It is growth in motion. My worth does not depend on matching anyone else's schedule for adulthood, achievement, or stability. I am exactly where I need to be, even in the uncertainty. I want to talk about the specific exhaustion of performing confidence you do not actually feel, presenting a polished version of your life to people who assume you have it together, while privately wondering if you are the only one who does not. Beloved chosen one, I want you to consider today that nearly everyone around you is performing some version of this same confidence, uncertain underneath their composed exterior, simply better at hiding it than you currently feel capable of being yourself. I want to speak to those of you who feel like specific milestones, marriage, children, home ownership, career achievement. Define whether your life is on track or falling short. Beloved chosen one, these milestones were never actually a universal scoreboard. Some of the most meaningful lives unfold entirely outside these expected markers, full of purpose and depth, despite never checking every box society quietly expects to see checked by a certain age. I want to talk about what actually matters more than having everything figured out, because I believe it deserves clear attention. Beloved chosen one, character matters more than certainty. Integrity matters more than having all the answers. The willingness to keep growing, keep adjusting, keep showing up honestly even amid uncertainty matters far more than arriving at some mythical state of complete stability that very few people, if any, ever genuinely achieve. If this message has reached you at exactly the right time today, comment the words, "I release the timeline," so that others quietly measuring themselves against this same invisible pressure can find this reminder and set that comparison down as well. I also want to speak to the specific loneliness of feeling behind, the sense that you cannot fully relate to peers who seem settled, while also not quite fitting with people younger than you who are just beginning their own uncertain journey. Beloved chosen one, that in-between feeling does not mean something is wrong with you. It simply means your path has looked different, and different has never actually meant worse, despite how persistently comparison tries to convince you otherwise. I want to remind you as well that many of the people you admire most, whose lives look settled and impressive from the outside, experience their own extended seasons of uncertainty, false starts, and quiet self-doubt that simply are not visible from where you currently stand, looking at their finished, polished result. Before I leave you today, I want you to think of someone in your life who might also be quietly measuring themselves against this same impossible timeline, exhausted by comparison, uncertain if their unconventional path counts as valid. Reach out to them today, beloved chosen one. Sometimes the most meaningful thing you can offer someone is simply releasing them from a pressure you both have been silently carrying without ever naming it honestly to each other. Beloved chosen one, you do not need to have it all figured out. You simply need to keep walking faithfully, one honest, uncertain step at a time, trusting that your particular path, unconventional as it may look, is still valid, still meaningful, and still entirely your own. Subscribe if this message reached you today, beloved chosen one, because tomorrow I return with another message meant exactly for you. Walk in peace, and walk without needing every answer figured out before you take the next step. I remain with you,